This is Lizzie from Let Zoe Spoil You.
And Sagira from Sagira Salutes You. And together, we are Newbie versus Weeaboo. Sagira, Newbie.
Lizzie, Weeaboo.
It's Newbie versus Weeaboo.
Guten Tag, mein Fräulein.
Oh, going for the Oscar hello there. That's just
yeah.
like, hello for me. Nice and simple today.
Right. So we are recording this on Good Friday. Yay! And it's hot. It is hot.
Yes. As UK people are not used to it suddenly going from 18 degrees to 26 degrees overnight.
Yeah, indeed. It was a hot one last night. The covers were coming off. It's like, kick these things off me.
Same.
So we are up to episode 15 of Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Woohoo! Yes, we are.
It's like a stutter. I have to think about saying it.
Swarms
Evangelion.
and brains are melting, and the monotonous
Yes.
of being trapped inside our worlds, especially when you don't have air conditioning. You're just like, it's warm.
All that's in my life right now is editing, Neon Genesis, and cats. That's it. That's my world right now.
Pretty much the same. Evangelion, my Yaoi podcast, and horror movies.
Well, no wonder you're getting paranoid if you're watching horror movies and you're trapped in your house. Bloody hell.
Well, they're all films because the podcast is themed around demonic possession, and I'm not really feeling particularly demonically possessed, so I'm okay.
Well, maybe you are. You're just blending in really well.
Yeah, you can't tell anymore, because even if I was possessed, there's nowhere to go and no one to upset.
You're just this demon that came to Earth and went, you know what? Anime and fast food is great. I'm just going to live here for a bit. And you've just forgotten about your demonic plan that you had. You've just decided to just settle in.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, you know what? Oh my God, look at all these TV channels. What do you mean there's Deliveroo fried chicken? I'm never doing anything ever again.
I'm here to be your overlord. I will take over and everything will be KFC, you say?
Yeah.
What was I saying? Doesn't matter. Give me some fried chicken.
Well, we found there's a place that's like Absurd Bird, in which it does Deliveroo fried chicken and waffles, but cheaper than obviously Absurd Bird. So now I'm just like, oh yeah, bring me the chicken and waffles. This is great.
So you're sorted then.
Yeah, I'm sorted.
Well, Deliveroo doesn't deliver to us because we're apparently out in the sticks. 10 minutes from Bath is apparently out in the sticks. So no Deliveroo for us.
Right, probably better for your waistline than it is mine.
True, but no, because I just buy stuff. My wallet and my waistline are opposite to each other. One's going up, one's going down in the wrong direction.
Yep.
Right. Okay. So episode 15. This is called Lies and Silence. So many lies and so much silence. And we open with a helicopter. Is that a helicopter?
Yeah, that. I mean, I've got weird helicopter, obviously.
Wobbly, wobbly, wobbly.
Yeah, that's my helicopter.
Well, good thing we don't do sound effects. Or do we? Flying Gendo and his mate, who seems to be in it a lot recently.
He's the second in command, so.
That's it, commander. That's it. Deputy commander. And they're flying over and they're just recapping stuff that's happened and how projects are going.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't see much relevance to what they were saying other than, yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, they were just saying, yes, this one. And Gendo's going, all the projects are linked. So, well, the Board of Old Men, the Sele Court, I know that makes them sound like fairies, but the Sele Court are going, well, what about the Human Instrumentality Project? And Gendo's all like, yeah, they think it's behind, but since all the projects are interlinked, it's all going well, got nothing to complain about. And then obviously there's that weird little line about, yeah, but what about the project with Ray? And then Gendo's completely silent. And you're like,
Ooh, the spear. Triton stick.
Lance of Longinus.
And then we cut to Kaji in like, I don't mean to laugh, but we cut to Kaji in his little shack and he's meeting someone. And this is a really important scene. However, Those cats.
I know. I was saying, I was like, oh, it's 1, 2, 3, 4 cats. There's a ginger kitty. There's a slightly more tabby one. There's one that had a white tummy. Oh, yeah.
So at this point, I had to put on the subtitles to write down what they were saying because I was so distracted by the cats. I'm like, I have no idea what you two are talking about. So
yeah, I was a bit like,
on.
cats. They talk about some important stuff. I want to know what they were feeding the cats because they look like tiny little orange little. And I'm like, what's that type of cat food? The cats seem to really like it. Oh, look at all the kitties.
But she is some sort of informant or someone who works with him, and she's showing him a list of the board of directors for the Marduk Institute.
Yeah.
And they help to find potential Ava pilots. Can you tell I'm reading that? Can you tell that I did not memorize that at all because of the cats?
Yes.
Stupid cats.
They were cute. They're all fluffy
They were
and
adorable.
round.
They were the
Like
best
cats.
thing I've seen so far. Beats the crappy dance scene we saw. Cats.
Yep. I like
cats in anything.
Yeah.
Basically, he's a spy. He's come in and he's spying on NERV.
So
that's what
every
we
now and
get
again,
from
when
that.
you hear someone going, what should we do about him? Leave him be. Now you know it's Kaji they've been talking about all this time.
So they know that he's a spy, but they're not letting him know that he's a spy.
Yeah.
Or when something happens, and we'll bring it up later because, yeah, let's not jump ahead because we're only at the start.
Yeah.
So then we pop over to Asuka, who's on the phone to Kaji, and she's like, help me, save me, I'm being attacked, Mare, because he's not getting in contact with her, and she's getting sad about it. So she thinks that, you know what, if I'm under attack, surely he will come to my rescue. No.
Yeah.
No, he is the little girl that cried wolf. She's probably done it way too many times. He doesn't care anymore.
No, definitely knows that Asuka's only doing it to get attention, because that's all she really does.
But also, with the kind of girl she is, she wouldn't take that kind of crap from anyone. She'll kick their butts.
Yeah, exactly. She'd be like, what are you doing? Punch. Like, no.
Exactly. Yeah, so she can handle herself, that girl. The class rep is with her and is like, hey, I can set you up on a date. And she's like, no. And she's like, go on. And she's like, yeah.
I know, it's literally like, kind of, oh, please. And Asuka's clearly, she's really bored. And she also wants to get back at Kaji for not spending enough time. She's not feeling very, like, vindicated in a whole lot of Asuka-ness. So she's like, fine, I'll go on a date because it'll make me feel better. Serves you right, Kaji, for ignoring me. I'm going to go date some other dude.
And then we go to the classroom where they're cleaning. And this is a really small scene, but ends up being a thing later on.
Yeah.
Not too much later on, but yeah. Because what you're finding with this thing is that they keep showing these really short scenes that, you know, like they're cleaning the classroom. Who cares?
Yeah.
But then later on, you're like, oh, it's relevant. So everything they show you is relevant. So now I'm like literally writing down like I've got here, the class are cleaning the room. Toji gives impromptu training lesson for Shinji because he hits him, doesn't he? He's like, you have to always be aware. But I wrote it down, even though it didn't seem at the time like we needed to. But we did.
Yeah, no, it's important the way that Shinji is staring at Rei wringing the washcloth. He's very like,
yes,
something triggers something in him by watching her do that.
Indeed. And then from there we go to HQ, where the Necarus operation is complete. Necarus, is that how you pronounce it? They're doing more testing, basically.
Yep, necrosis. It's
on the
necrosis. You know, like fasciitis necrosizing. It's necrosis. You're looking at me like, I don't know what necrosis is. Necrosis is what happens when your flesh rots.
Oh, okay. Like necro.
Yes, necrosis is, a state of decomposing flesh. And technically it shouldn't happen when you're alive, but there's been cases of people entering necrosis because of dead skin tissue, because a wound has got infected, which is why, like, you know, if you get things like gangrene, you have to cut parts of you up because of the necrotizing tissue, because that slowly gets into your bloodstream and causes blood poisoning.
So pretty.
Yeah, so they're basically, they're testing it to make sure that the Avas don't get necrosis.
Right, okay. And then that again opens up, well, why would we worry about a robot getting necrosis? Because it's not a robot. No. But we're already coming on to that anyway, because it's been hinted at and we've seen things. So we already know that. That's not a new thing. Ritsuko and Misato, while they're training, are discussing outfits for a wedding, which I do think is just like meh. Because yes, we need the wedding for things to happen, but at the same time, yeah, okay, they could have been anywhere.
The wedding subplot is literally just to show that because the apocalypse is upon them, people are just getting married because it's like, well, if we might die, might as well get married quickly and do things like that.
The line that made me laugh was, everyone's so anxious to get hitched before the big 3-0.
Yeah.
Like, oh, well, that's me gone.
Yeah.
I'm almost 3 years past that, so never mind.
Yeah. I was definitely past it when I got married. I was like, yeah, no, that was a few years ago, the 3-0. Now it's like, oh, goodness, it's nearly a decade ago. Jesus.
And Asuka is complaining about how boring this testing is. And this indicates that they've not really had a fight for a while, because she's like, all we're doing is testing. And yeah, that would tell us that that's all they're doing right now. They're just testing the Avas, making sure that they work and they can withstand certain situations. And she's done with it. She doesn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah, she's bored. She's very bored.
She's always bored. Now we go to the lift with Shinji and Rei, and this is where the last scene comes in.
Yes.
The importance of the washcloth. Because he's going to see his father the next day, so he was asking Rei for advice. Like, so what is he like? She's like, I don't know. He's like, but you're so pally with him. Why wouldn't you know? And then he goes on to say that she's like a mother wringing out the washcloth. She's like motherly, and the way she does it is like an older person. Now,
you're going to say things, and I'm going to have to just not answer you,
Lizzie. Now, what came to my mind was all that talk about the personality transplanting.
As
that was me taking a thoughtful sip of my mocha.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Apologies.
Yeah, no, I can't tell you.
You can tell me.
I can't tell you
anything happened in this.
I can't tell you about this. You have to wait. It's hinting for things that are yet to come. So I can't tell you. What I can do is, being compared to someone who is motherly and would make a good housewife, is one of the few times that you see Rei actually blushing. She's slightly embarrassed, which is why she gets a little bit snappy with him, because she's been embarrassed because this has kind of touched her, and she's kind of like, oh, this is nice. And she's a bit like, I don't know how to deal with these feelings of feeling nice, especially with Shinji, but it's just showing that. Yeah,
well, I did put
cute.
she's embarrassed, so I did recognise the blush. But yeah, right, come back to you on that one then.
Yep.
So back at the flat, Asuka, Misato are discussing the date, and they discuss Shinji because Shinji's getting all pouty because he has to go see his dad. And then Shinji's on his bed. He starts having flashbacks of his father. And like the abandoned, well, it looks like he's been abandoned. He says he ran away.
He did.
But there's the picture of him looking abandoned, obviously much younger than what he was, because he's there crying with the suitcase on the floor. And this again comes up later on. It looks like he's abandoned rather than running away.
Yeah, but he did run away.
Yes, he did. Well, we hear that in this one, don't we? Misato starts questioning about how he's feeling about the next day, and she's like, look, don't worry, you're going to see your mother as well. And we're like, ooh, we're going to meet his mother. No. No, we're not. No, we're not. But we'll get to that. And then everyone's going somewhere. Misato's going to her wedding. Or not her wedding, a wedding.
Oh, yep.
Shinji is going to see his father and his mother. And Asuka is going to her date.
Yep.
And then say bye-bye to Pen Pen.
Yeah, go say bye-bye to Pen Pen. Pen Pen's part of the family.
He is getting more involved. So the first thing that we see is the wedding. And Misato is sat there with Ritsuko. And they're waiting for Kaji to turn up. And he rolls in. So obviously doing something suspicious.
Yep.
But they don't know that just yet. And then there's the back and forth awkward flirting that they do. It's like, you're like an old married couple. No, we're not. Touch me. So
the lady doth protest too much.
Really does. And then we pop to Shinji, who is at a graveyard, and they're visiting his mother. Gendo turns up, and we are told that it has been 3 years since this happened. So we know that it happened after the second impact, so she couldn't have died from that.
No, she died in 2004.
Yeah, exactly. So we know that she didn't die from the second impact, so she must have died another way.
Yeah.
And the fact that Gendo is not exactly the oldest man on Earth, she died quite young. Therefore, something has happened. So, dun, 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 that's a mystery.
Yep.
But Gendo tells Shinji that there are no pictures of his mother. They're all gone. And there's no body in the grave because there's no body. So, more questions.
Yep. More questions.
More mystery.
For a later date.
And Gendo is very Vulcan in the way that he delivers any of his lines. No emotion. No nothing. Just,
he believes that if you care about someone, or if you care about something, you keep it to yourself and you keep it inside. So he doesn't need stuff to remind him of the people he cares about because he holds it closer inside him. And Shinji's just like, you just throw away the things you want to forget about. And he's like, that's not it. So
So he clearly doesn't have an Instagram then, Gendo.
No.
That would be an interesting Instagram.
God knows what you take pictures of.
And then Gendo's like, yep, I'm going. See you later. Gets a helicopter.
Just leave Shinji at the grave. And it's like, there you go. Have a traumatic time. Bye. Thanks for it. We'll give it another 3 years.
But Shinji liked his time with his dad. He enjoyed it because any time with his dad is something.
I mean, I get the feeling that the mum died when Shinji was 4. That little boy with the suitcase looks about 4. So he's got abandonment issues because obviously after the mum died, the dad kind of started rejecting him. I think that's how I read it. Always like starts rejecting him and isn't interested. And then is it 3 years ago when they were last at the grave? And after that visit, that's when Shinji ran away. So Shinji ran away at 11. He ran away because obviously the little boy with the suitcase is not 11. The little boy with the suitcase is 4-year-old Shinji.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying earlier, is that him with the suitcase looks younger than when he ran away. So, good. I have been given the green light on that one. Good. And then we go to part 2, which is called... We've now got a new contender for the longest title.
Oh, God, yeah. And the one that doesn't really make as much sense.
No. Those women longed for the touch of others' lips and thus invited their kisses.
So it's basically a very long and poetic way of saying that lonely women kiss people because they're lonely. It's like you could have just called it lonely kisses and it would have meant exactly the same thing.
But it is in quotation marks, so
it's probably from something, and I probably should have looked it up, but
what kind of weeaboo are you?
One that is more concerned about social commentary than poetry.
Fine. I'm sure there are some who beg to differ.
Yeah, I'm sure someone will correct us. Will be like, turn up in the comments going, it's from Shakespeare. It's not from Shakespeare. It's from, I don't know, a famous poet. I can't think of any favourite. T.S. Eliot. He's a poet, isn't he?
Well, I'll be interested to know if anybody knows where it's from. Please do comment. We would enjoy that. Let us know. Educate us. Okay, so back to the flat. Shinji is playing the cello. Where'd that come from?
Well, yeah, no, it turns out he's known how to do it all along. And it's like, I'd forgotten about that. Oh, yeah, he's a really good cellist.
That's it. It's 15 episodes in, and it's like, hey, there's a cello now.
Well, I think it's proof that how little is happening in the real world, because it's literally being bam, angel attack, bam, angel attack. So he's had time to take his cello out and play it, and also he's in a bit more of an emotionally grounded state for Shinji.
True, yep. And Asuka comes in at the end, is like, brava, well done. And he's like, well, how was your date? She's like, awful. Like, you think that how bored she is at the moment, that she just thrive on anything. Yeah. But she's like, but he was so boring. Just be out with your mates. Don't worry about him. Like, just enjoy your time out with people.
The thing is, she says, I ditched him in the queue for the roller coaster. Do you know what'd be more exciting? A frigging roller coaster. Like, who cares if he's boring? Once you're on the roller coaster, it doesn't matter. The thing is, I think it's just life is boring her because the only thing she wants to do is be out there fighting in her Ava. So nothing else can compare to the thrill of being noticed, basically, because she's not being noticed at the moment, and not in the way she wants to be, and she gets that validation from being an awesome Ava pilot.
But also she says that if it's not Kaji, it's not worth it. Yeah. So that's that as well. So she wants to pilot, and she wants to have an inappropriate relationship. So that's all good. And then we're back to the wedding. Yay. And we learn a bit more about Kaji and Misato's relationship, because she gets up and goes to the loo and powders her whatever. And Kaji and Ritsuko start talking about how they lived together and it was like a marriage, but they weren't happy, etc. And then he gives her a token.
Yes.
Now, what is this token?
Dunno.
Is it relevant? Is it
We'll have to wait
is it
and
something they
see.
do in Japan?
Just brought back a souvenir. Normally, whenever you go on a trip, it's polite to bring back souvenirs for your friends. It's just a done thing.
But was it a souvenir? Or was it something spy-like?
Well, if it is, I'm not telling you, am I?
You're so Ritsuko, you.
Down to the bleach blonde hair.
That would make me Misato then.
Yeah, and
The
considering
beard
I'm the
swirling
like
forehead.
emotional alcoholic as well, like
Well, in this instance, is that you know all the secrets and I'm trying to figure them out. So
Yeah.
in that regard,
in
we are
actual
those parts.
personalities, I am totally Masato with my lounging around in my underwear, drinking beer, and not being bothered to do anything, and obviously eating takeout.
So then Ritsuko knows that Kaji is hiding something. She kind of hints at it, saying like,
Yeah, don't dig too deep because could get hurt. And he's like, no, don't worry, I'm being totally safe.
After the wedding, we see two figures in a alley, which you can't totally see what they're doing, but then you find out it's Misato.
You can hear
throwing
it,
up.
the whole bleh.
Oh, yeah.
You can hear it. It's like there's totally someone throwing up against a wall. Like, who hasn't been there? But like, well, I mean, what I do like is the conversation in the bar about how they were very young when they were in at first, and when Kaji asked Misato to move in, they thought they were being big and mature, but then they realised that they were just being kids. They weren't like mature enough to handle the responsibility of living together and kind of what that actually entails and stuff, and they were just too young to have made that decision at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's like, no, I'm not going to pursue her, and Ritsuko's all like, no, you've still got a chance. You've got to keep trying.
Yeah. And we find out more about that on the walk home,
Yes.
which I don't know, it just reminded me of you.
It's such
And
a
your
me
husband coming
moment.
to your husband coming to
So-
pick you up.
It's
Yeah,
such
which
a
is like,
me
Lizzie.
moment. I've drunk too much. Now I'm having an emotional outburst about why I'm useless. And well, my good
While
husband
your husband tries to get you home.
yes, weathers it and looks after me. Yeah. I relate to that scene so much. In fact, I think I've had the exact same conversation drunk in the middle of the road before. It's just so relatable. It's such a relatable scene. I don't think there's many women that haven't had that breakdown of they get too drunk, then they get emotional, and then the truth of how they're feeling comes out, but they're like, oh, it's so heartbreaking for Misato because she sounds her youngest in that scene. Her voice just sounds so young, and it's kudos to the voice actress. That I was sitting there like thinking, going, my goodness, it's like she just suddenly de-ages, and all that responsible adult is gone. And the scared child is there, and she compares herself to Shinji, and she looks down on Shinji, and now she feels like a terrible person because she's no better because she never escaped the shadow of her father and all the pressure that put on her, and yeah, and how it's all her fault, and then the blaming of herself and the self-guilt and the self-loathing, and I'm like, yeah,
But
I know
also,
that girl.
she's bringing up all her father issues as well, saying that the reason why she dated Kaji is because he reminded her so much of her dad. And I think we all do that in a way. I mean, you're always going to find aspects of people you know in other people. You always are.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just that he was more so than most.
Yeah.
That's why she was drawn to him. But at the same time, that's why she had to get away from him. She broke up with him. We find out that's what happened. It wasn't mutual. It wasn't him. It was all her. And he still loves her, which explains everything, like why he still flirts with her, why he's still chasing her, because she broke up with him. So he probably still loves her.
Yeah.
But she's trying to not go back there, bringing up every excuse of, oh, you're so mature, oh, you're so unreliable, oh, you're so irresponsible. But no, it's you're my dad.
Yeah.
And she goes into an absolute state, freaks out, and the only way to stop it is a big old smacker on the lips.
Yeah. Finally, like, calm her down.
Yep. Yeah, I don't see anything other than slapping her, which would have been the wrong move.
Yes, no, Kaji did the right decision.
Yes.
I know.
There's one of two things. You either kiss her or slap her, and he loves her too much to slap her. So
Yeah, exactly.
give her a kitty.
Wants to make her feel calm and appreciated.
So then we go back to the flat, and Asuka is now so bored that she says to Shinji, hey, let's kiss. He's frazzled.
Yeah,
he's not been in this situation before, poor boy.
And she's just literally using him to see, like, she's just bored. She'll do anything to be like, oh, this is a different experience, and might as well try it.
But she gives him the worst kiss ever.
Yes, it's not really
Don't
a
breathe
kiss.
on me. Don't breathe on me through your nose. It's tickling. So she holds his nose.
Yeah,
This is probably Shinji's first kiss.
and she nearly
And
kills
she's
him.
ruining it.
I do love the fact that Pen comes out and Shinji's turning blue and Pen's like, "Meh, meh, back into my fridge. If he dies, he dies." It is not like, it's not a proper kiss. It's more of her just stopping him breathing with her mouth.
Yeah.
Because at the end of it, Shinji's not all like, "Oh, that was my first kiss." He didn't do the, like, first to kiss thing. He's doing the, "Oh, thank God I can breathe again. What the just happened?"
And she runs and washes her mouth out, going, "I can't believe you kissed me."
Yeah, scream.
Oh.
Yeah, and she's just between the brushes. You can just hear it. It's like, "That proves it. You should never kiss out of boredom." Yeah. And it's like, well, yes, that could have told you that.
But then Misato and Kaji come through the door. I'm assuming Kaji just threw her on the bed because she's just like
Splat. Yeah, no, definitely. She did a me.
With her-
a very much me.
The thing that reminded me of me was the dirty tights, because the amount of times I've taken off my heels to walk through the streets.
Yes, yes.
Dirty tights.
We've
Get
all
home and
been
you've just got
there.
two big holes.
Yeah. And you're just like, "Oh my God, my feet are so dirty."
If you've not done it, then well done. Because you
Yes.
shouldn't do that.
No.
Don't get so drunk that you take your heels off and have big holes in your tights. You'll get pneumonia. Well, I nearly did because it was a rainy winter's night when I did it. So I was freezing. But of course, alcohol numbed that pain. So yeah. I didn't know. But yes, no. Do not walk through the streets in your tights. We get a shot of school.
Oh, no, before that, you have
Huh?
Kaji leaves and Oscar's all like, "Hello, Kaji." But then she reluctantly lets go and he says bye. And she goes, "Smells like lavender." And she realizes that the perfume she wanted to borrow earlier, that Misato was like, she can smell Misato's perfume on Kaji. And this is the moment when she suddenly feels truly rejected. And you see a bit of a change in her.
See, now I get that. But at the same time, he was carrying her in the door. Now, you can't assume anything. I mean, they did. They kissed and everything, blah. But
and that's all they did. Blasted drunk, and they have work the next day.
But he dragged her in. Of course, her smell's going to be all over him.
Yeah,
so
but Oscar's being a needy 14-year-old. She's already in a bit of a bad place, and she just gets needier after this.
Meteor or needier?
Needier. Needier.
Well, you get sad and you eat a lot. You get meatier.
It's my life.
Okay, so then we go to school.
Yes.
We hear, the only reason why we've gone to school is to hear that Ray is missing again. She's missed quite a bit of school now.
Because you noticed that when the helicopter turned up to pick up Gendo, Ray was in the helicopter. So
did not see that. I didn't see Ray in the helicopter.
Oh yeah, she was in the helicopter. Shinji noticed her in the window and she's looking out. So she was in the helicopter when Gendo got picked up from the graveyard.
See, again, I was probably writing at that point. I miss out all these little tiny details I keep missing because I'm writing down stupid notes.
You just got to have to pause every time you write and then press play.
I have been. I've been pausing. I've been. I told you, this is taking me like an hour and a half to watch 2 20-minute episodes. It's getting ridiculous, people. But from there, we go to NERV HQ, where Gendo is looking at a tube full of fluid. And in that tube is Ray.
Yes.
And then they smile at each other.
Yes.
Clone! Or clone of mother. Mother! Mom!
You'll have to wait and find out.
This is mum. It's got to be something to do with the mum. There's too much similarities. There's too much love from Gendo and mother. God damn it. Right. I thought that was going to be the end because it was quite a good ending thing to finish on. Oh no! Bigger!
Yeah.
Much bigger reveal. So Kaji is trying to break into something. And Misato catches him. She's like, "Maha, gotcha." And she's got a gun to the back of his head. So that is how serious this is. They're still joshing with each other because at the end of the day, that's their relationship.
Yeah.
And he is part of the Japanese Home Ministry Department of Investigation.
Yes, it's the Japanese government.
Yes. So they are sending him in to find out all of NERV's secrets. rather than just saying, hey, help us build Avas. It's like, why? Why are we helping you to build Avas? What's so special about Avas? So he's in there to figure that out. But he also says that Gendo knows, or Gendo has said it's okay for him to be there, or something along those lines. I don't know if it's that Gendo knows that he's a spy, or that Gendo knows that he's investigating this thing that he's going to look at now.
I mean, Gendo knows that he's a spy because he's been saying all along, I'll just let him be, let him do what he wants. Because he says, the line is, but Gendo still finds me useful. That's why they haven't killed him off. So Gendo knows he's a spy, and he's also using Kaji to do his own spy work, I'm assuming. But we don't quite know.
So he's a double spy.
We don't quite know the full picture yet.
So then he shows Misato what's behind the door. Let me do this in this order. It's an angel, and it's crucified on the cross.
Yep.
They say it's the first angel, Adam, and he calls the first impact. But Misato, the first thing she says is, it's an Ava. Dum, dum, dum.
Dum, dum, dum.
So from this, are we to deduce that angels are Avas? I mean, you find out a bit more in the next episode.
You find out more in the next one. So at that moment, because she goes, it's an Ava. Oh, no, wait a minute. No, it's an angel. So you kind of assume that because of its size and it's looking slightly like humanoid, she was like, oh, there's another Ava down here. Then she takes a closer look going, no, that's not an Ava. That's a crucified angel that has the Lance of Longinus stuck inside it. And it's also Adam. So NERV are keeping...
So that's what Ray was doing.
Sticking the Lance of Longinus in.
But the last time we saw Adam, he was a tiny embryo. So he... What?
They've released Adam from the thing it was in.
But they said he caused the second impact. So that means that he was Big Adam.
Yeah.
Then he turned to Little Adam. And now he's Big Adam again.
Yes. Can't tell you any more than that. Sorry. Have to wait and see.
Clones. I'm just going to keep saying clones and mother. Mother clones. Clone mother. And then that's where that episode ends.
Yeah.
We've just been given this big reveal. And they're like, hey, wait till next episode. So we went to the next episode and did episode 16. The sickness unto death. And then... ...
Dun, dun, dun.
I'm loving these titles. So this episode starts in the flat again, and Shinji is making breakfast. Everything's lovely.
Yeah.
After finding out this huge, massive thing, Misato is just like, let's go back to life as normal. No one has to know what I've just seen. Everything's fine. Asuka wakes up as she normally does in a rage, and she's shouting about everything and just always shouting.
Yeah.
And you can tell that she's not happy with Misato, probably because of the whole Kaji thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So she's annoyed with everyone right now.
Yeah.
She's got no friends, nothing. She's just like, everyone hates me and I hate them.
Yes,
but
exactly.
No one is doing it towards her. Misato isn't telling her, oh, we've got this relationship and everything. It's just she's found out and she's just assuming, and she's going, you know what? I hate you because everything that's going on in my brain.
Yes.
So instead of talking about it, just acting out.
She's just like, she's just acting out. And she's also getting annoyed at Shinji because he automatically says sorry as his answer, even if something's not his fault. And it's very right, because it's something that I know I do sometimes, and a lot.
British people do it.
Like, if someone's not shouting, you apologise first, because you're not going to keep shouting at someone who says sorry. It's a defence mechanism.
Yeah. Someone's even in a bad mood and it has nothing to do with you.
Yeah,
it's
you
like,
apologise.
Oh, I wanted to go outside today, but it's raining and I've hurt my foot, and it's like, oh, I'm sorry. Why are you sorry? This has nothing to do
Yeah,
with
exactly.
It's just such a British thing to do. Yeah. It's just to apologise. I mean, this is Japan, so I'm guessing
it's a Japan. Yeah, they've got that whole manners thing, and Shinji even more so, because he's just like, he's so scared of being hurt and upsetting people. There, he's like, I'll just apologise for everything.
I feel for him because we all do it. Back at the HQ, there's another test going on.
Yep.
And it's a type B harmonics test.
Okay.
And it all turns out normal.
Yeah, it's just basically how well they're synchronising with their Avas.
And that's good.
It's good, yeah. Extra good for Shinji.
Yep, Shinji is doing an amazing job and he's getting all the praise. And of course, Asuka hates this. And she's trying to pretend to Ray that, like, oh, it's fine, like, it means less for us to do. Haha, we're getting off lightly. Da, da. And Ray's just like, yeah, see ya.
Yeah, it's like she's not having any of Oscar's shenanigans of like, oh, the golden boy, the amazing boy. Guess we won't need to do any more work. It's like, come on, let's bitch about Shinji. Come on, let's bitch. And Ray's like, no, I'm not into that. I'm off.
Next, we see Shinji on a bus. Now, I didn't fully understand this. He's gripping his hand several times, and he's like, yes. Why is he doing that?
Have you not noticed that whenever they pilot the Avas, they have that grip thing? So when they did another test and Ray gripped that, they hold that, and I just assume that's where the sensors are for like synchronizations and stuff. And it's also like how quickly you grab that, how fast you can sync, is how quickly you can move an Ava's arm and shoot. So if the higher your synchro ratio, the higher it goes. Grab that into action, because then you're moving as one rather than grabbing it registering, you synchronizing, you lifting weapon. Those couple of seconds can cost so the fact that he's like, haha, amazing synchronization, I can literally go.
So on the bus he was just celebrating that.
Yeah, he was like,
doing the grippy thing, like remembering.
He was being remembering and feeling good about himself.
And then we have our 12th angel.
Ooh, yes.
Comes along. And this is a doozy. So at first it's a zebra orb.
Yeah.
Well, so we think it's
monochromy, stripy orb thing.
Alarms, evacuations, into battle. The Avas are put in place. Asuka taunts Shinji again by going like, well, maybe you should be the number one in this one. Maybe you should jump into action. Shinji's like, okay, I'm awesome.
She literally goads him into it. So she should take more responsibility because it's her fault.
It is her fault. But at the same time
Shinji was being a dum-dum.
Well, Shinji, he's getting so much praise now that he's got it in his head that he is ready and he can do it. Because, if you're being told you're good at something, why would you think otherwise?
Yeah.
If everyone's like acting as if you're ready to do the big show, then it's like, well, it's everyone's fault. It's all your fault. Sorry, because I've got stuff crossed out here because they had the cords that they were attached to, which they haven't had previously. I was going to ask you what it is, but they say it's an umbilical cable.
Yeah, they've always called them the umbilical cables. Those are the
power
I know,
things. But have they always had it? Because I don't remember. Have they?
Yes. Remember when they went fishing and Oscar's had hers attached, and then
I remember that.
And remember in one of the first episodes when it got severed and it only had 5 minutes of power. They have them in every single battle. You always see them. This one was just giving.
One?
Yeah, this one was just showing you that, wait a minute, well, how long are they? And it turns out that they've got recharge stations in those other things that pop up. So if you travel a certain distance, you can unhook one cord and then hook another one. They're always there. You always see them. And without them, they only have like 5 minutes of power.
It's always a time limit. So an Ava 1 shoots at Zebra Orb. Zebra Orb disappears.
Yep.
And a big shadow appears and goes nom 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 nom.
Yeah, gets sucked into it.
And as a child, that would be a horrible scene for me because I hated anything that was quicksandy.
Yes.
So for me, that was just like nightmare. So he gets swallowed down. No one can do anything. Asuka moves in time because she shoots at the orb as well. So then the shadow attacks her. So she's like, nope, and moves and she gets out of the way. However, as she's climbing the buildings are now getting sucked down as well. So everything's disappearing into this huge shadow. And it's massive. It pretty much covers the city.
Yeah.
So they've all got to find somewhere to sit that's not on the ground. And they're told to leave. They're like, no, forget it. We can't get Shinji. You're going to die. Get back here.
Yeah.
So they have to abandon the mission.
And Ray's reluctant, but it's like, it's a direct order. You have to leave him. And it was like, it's nice seeing Ray having that bit of like, no, I want to stay and save him.
So Misato is now flying over the city to have a look at what they're dealing with. With the voiceover, we hear that Shinji is not at the end of the cable. They brought the cable back and he's not attached to it. So he is in that void somewhere. We don't know where he is.
Yeah.
And again, a time limit. He has 16 hours left of life support. So they don't know what's going to happen because they don't know where he is. Worst case scenario, he dies. So they've got to act quickly to try and get him back. Church bells chime because it's religious.
And showing that this could be his final moments. He could be dying.
Asuka is still annoyed at Shinji, saying that he was dumb. Ray gets annoyed with her. Like, not an outraged Asuka kind of annoyed, but a kind of, restrained Japanese annoyed, where
It's much scarier because it's actual anger and the death glare she gives Oscar. And then Oscar's like, oh, what? You're protecting your precious friend Shinji because he's amazing. And she's like, basically tells her that, check your ego. Because it's like, yeah. It's like, oh, you're just piling this to get noticed. And Oscar's like, no, I'm piling it for me.
And while they're having an argument, they're doing a recap of what's happening. And basically what we find out is that the shadow is the angel. The sphere is the shadow.
Yes.
So the sphere distracts. So everyone's shooting at that while the shadow comes up and goes glub, 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 and takes whatever it wants.
The angel is a void, and the shadow is the reflection of the void.
Yes. So we then cut to the void, and Shinji is freaking out, and who can blame him? All he sees is white. He doesn't see anything else.
Yep.
He's just stuck in his tube. He can't see anything. He can't really move. Yeah, I'd freak out too.
Yeah, he's just literally in a void. There's nothing in a void. It's not a nice place to get stuck.
He can't talk to anyone. He can't see anyone. It's just him in his tube. So then Ritsuko has a plan to drop bombs, 992 N2 mines in the core area of the angel. At the same time of doing this, the Avas will use their AT fields to interrupt the angel's imaginary numbers circuit. It's very technical.
Yeah.
For a millisecond, and then they will focus the energy from the explosion to destroy the angel.
It's basically a fancy way of saying they're going to blow it up from inside.
But one problem with that, Shinji might die.
Yep.
Ritsu does not care. All she cares about is getting that Ava 1 back. Misato is really upset by this. Why is that all you care about? Because now that she's seen Adam, she's now questioning everything. And she's like, why is this Ava more important than the pilot? Why do you need the Ava back and not Shinji?
Yeah. And she now knows that, Ritsuko and Gendo are keeping secrets from her.
Back in the void, Shinji is hallucinating. And then there's a dialogue about how there are many Shinjis in everyone.
Yeah. It's quite interesting. Well, no, I like the scene because you start realizing like what happens when there isn't power in this, and things like he's got 12 hours. He's only got a couple more hours of life support, and he's noticing how everything's starting to smell like blood, and it's the fluid that he's inside the blood, and like the systems that purify it are starting shutting down. So there's weird impurities and particles floating around the place, and he's getting a bit creeped out and a bit mentally like scarred. And then he starts this weird dialogue with his own soul, which is like, it's a thing that's happened in philosophy before, the fact that there's more than one version of yourself. There's the version of yourself that exists in other people based on how they view you. And Shinji is so scared of being disappointed and so scared of getting hurt, he really is scared of how other people see him. So he fears the way he's reflected back on himself, and because of that, he fears the way he is, because he doesn't like the reflection he sees of himself in other people. He's a little bit messed up. So he starts questioning himself, and then the younger version of himself, which is another aspect of him, it's the younger person that he's trying to move past. You should just, be more honest with yourself, and you can't live via being afraid of the way other people see you.
So we learn that Gendo, because we get another flashback and we hear that Gendo is accused of killing his wife. Now that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That goes back to her dying so young and after the second impact and all that jazz that we talked about earlier. But we don't, that's all we know. That there was newspaper articles and news reports saying that he's accused of killing his wife. Obviously nothing happened from it because he's not in prison.
No, exactly. He's running a secret organisation, so...
Shinji is starting to die because it is almost out of oxygen, and we see some crazy stuff before we die, as I understand it, as people have said in certain things. And he sees his mother in front of him, but then we cut to a scene where there's little Shinji holding out some orb thing, red gift thing, and the silhouette looks like the third angel.
I will talk about.
Does it look like you can tell if it looks like the third angel? It's got the same. It's got the big body and then the long, tiny arms either side.
Does it?
Oh my goodness! Don't do this to me, Lizzie. It looks like the third angel. Okay. I worked it out. Stop it. No, I've worked something out. Stop it.
Looks like his mum. You can see the brown. You see the hair swept down. It's got a fuzzed over face.
Looks like the third angel. Just so frustrating. I'm Asuka. I need praise. I need to be told I'm doing a good job. So then we cut to the Avas, and they're ready to start their mission. The shadow starts cracking, however. So before they get to doing the explosions and the pulling and the AT fields, everything starts to crack, and there's an earthquake, and there's...
The ground is all ruptured and...
Yes. And this is obviously not part of the plan because everyone's going, what's happening? In the sphere, it cracks open and out pops Ava 1.
Maybe not quite as nicely as you described it, because it's one of the most horrific things we've seen so far. And you're just like, what the f*** is going on now? This was one of my first true, like, what the... This is it. I mean, it looks like it's literally ripping its way out of a womb. The most angry, stabby child literally ripping its way out, and there's blood splatting everywhere. And the angel is not looking happy. It's all like, Rah!
But for something that's supposed to be a shadow, it's got a lot of blood coming out of it.
Yeah, because the shadow is like the reflection of the void. The void is destroyed because of something weird going on with Shinji's mental state. And obviously, remember in the first episode when the Ava just moved on its own. So when Shinji remembers his mother, the Ava kind of goes slightly like berserk and moves on its own again, because technically it has no power, it has no nothing. It's running purely on the thoughts that Shinji is having subconsciously. So you kind of assume that at this point Shinji's lost it, and his subconscious has Ava is basically going on as Shinji's subconscious wants, and Shinji's subconscious wants is to see people again. So it kind of just goes nuts. Like,
well, I think his bigger one is to live.
Yes,
he wants to live.
Well, no, he says what he just wanted to see everyone again.
And you do that by living. They go hand in hand. So it rips its way out, and Asuka is completely distraught by what she's seeing. She's like, I'm piloting that thing, and she's starting to realize that the Avas aren't exactly what they appear to be. Rei does not seem fazed by it. I mean, she might be internally, but she doesn't seem fazed by it. She's just staring at the thing. Mitsuko asks, what did we replicate? But then Misato replied, well, internally, because she doesn't say it out loud, internally replies with, not just a simple copy of the first angel. So it's a manipulated angel copy.
Yes.
Clones! Yay! Clones.
You're getting there.
Yay! So there we're getting hints that they are cloned from angels. However, they're not precisely angels, so they are something else as well. Mothers. I don't think that. But Rei is Shinji's mum. So it's raining blood.
Yeah, and it's everywhere.
Yep, and that seems quite biblical. Yeah. Blood rain. I'm pretty sure that's in one of the...
Yeah.
That's the no, not Moses.
Yes, it is.
Is it Moses?
Yes. Well, I suppose that was like they had rivers of blood. But I'm pretty sure it's rain blood as well. I'm
sure there's something where it rains blood.
I think that's New Testament stuff, Book of Revelations, which is newer than the Book of Enoch and Dead Sea Scrolls. But
again, if anyone wants
I'm not a theologist and I'm not that religious, so
if anybody wants to tell us in the comments, that's cool as well. We're happy to learn. Misato rescues, if you like, Shinji by ripping the door off and getting to him, and she's absolutely distraught. She's crying on him because it's all her fault and blah. Asuka ruins the moment. She's like, I thought you were going to give him a scolding.
It's like, she's just so happy. Misato's just so happy to have Shinji back, and he's not dead, and Shinji's happy to be back because he wants to be with people. He wants to stay connected.
Now we cut to a scene with Ritsuko and Gendo, and they're watching Ava 1 being cleaned. Ritsuko thinks that Misato suspects something. Well, she's not being particularly subtle, but yeah. Also, it's kind of hard to remember what Misato has said to other people and what she's eternally thinking, because you're like, well, she said that earlier. Oh, no, wait, that was to herself.
Yeah, so she's monologuing.
Yes, so you need to try and keep up with what's being said out loud. Gendo's fine with it. He's like, yeah, she can. That's okay. She can figure stuff out. And then Ritsuko says, if Rei or Shinji ever learn the secret of the Avas, they'll probably never forgive us. Now, they just said Shinji and Rei. They didn't mention Asuka, so it's something to do with those two.
Yes.
But what's interesting is that Rei doesn't know.
No.
Because Rei knows an awful lot.
Yeah, but doesn't know everything.
Yeah, so that's interesting. Back to Shinji's home from home, the hospital.
That bloody ceiling again.
Back there again. And he wakes up from, I'm guessing, a small coma because he went through a lot. He nearly died. He wakes up to find Rei with him. And as soon as he's awake, she's like, okay, see you later. And she walks out. Asuka is just outside, so they're all there to make sure he's okay. And it ends with Shinji saying that he can't stop smelling the blood. Dum dum dum.
Dum dum dum. He's being grossed out by the fact that the cockpit smelled like blood.
And then we're on to the next episode. What I didn't know, and I'm kind of glad I didn't, is because on Netflix, it's different from the TV to if you're watching it on a tablet. Because I watch it on a tablet, so I can watch it in my room. On the tablet, it cut as soon as the credits start. It does 5 seconds, then goes to the next episode.
Yeah.
I didn't realize at the end it was next time on, and they did like a short.
Yes, they do the next time on.
I didn't know that, and now I'm like, I have to avoid that at all costs because I don't want to know what's coming up next.
Yes, I've
make
always.
sure you fast forward as soon as the credits come up. Because
I don't watch the next times. I mean, apart from the fact that I know what's happening, but no.
Yeah, but I didn't know they had those, and I went because I had to get the end of the other episode for some reason because I wanted to make sure I got all the Angel and Adam stuff right. So I went back, but when I went back, I fast forwarded right to the end, thinking it was going to just have the credits, and then it said like next time Shinji, and I was like, no, stop it, no next time. So yeah, be careful not to watch your next times if you're watching along with us, because otherwise you'll get little hints that we're not getting. Well, that I'm not getting. You know everything. Oh, Sensei of the Neon Genesis.
Wow.
And that's that. That's this week. Well, today anyway. So there's a lot happening. We know that there is cloned angels, clones. We know that there is mother issues as well as father issues. We know that Kaji is a spy, and he's a known spy. That Asuka will forever be an angry 14-year-old.
Yeah.
And that's what we know.
I mean, we're getting closer.
We are getting closer. I mean, what is it? 16, so 17, 18, 19, 20.
10 more, I think. So it's
26. Is it 26 or 24?
26.
26, so yeah, 10 then. We're getting into the thick of it now. We're getting to the part where it's all the secrets come out before the big end battle happens, because there's always a big end battle. More writing for me. Yay.
Yes.
I'm going to have to start watching these 2 hours before we do the podcast, because I'm just not going to have time to do everything. So, Lizzie, is there anything you would like to suggest to the world to watch, to listen to?
As
play?
I only watch things, really, because that's all I do. I finished Series 3 of Castlevania. It is phenomenal. The last 2 episodes are 2 of the best things I've ever seen. The action, the fights, everything. It's just gorgeously animated. It's violent. It's sexy times. There's awesome vampires. There's blood everywhere. Beautiful, beautiful boys, and sad times and character development. Castlevania was fantastic. If you're not watching Castlevania, go watch Castlevania. It's phenomenal.
Could it be a podcast?
Probably.
I shouldn't watch it. I shouldn't watch it.
No, I don't think it's really in the same field. I've started playing Symphony of the Night because I loved the animated show so much. So that's what I've started doing, Symphony of the Night. I'm rubbish at it because I'm not used to having no save points. And I'm like, oh no, I don't know. It doesn't auto-save. No, it's when I die, which is a lot. It's just like, oh... This is making me feel like Bloodborne is easy, because I've got further in that than I did in this, and I was like, oh goodness, why do I keep choosing really hard games when I'm not very good at them, but I just want to play them anyway?
What have I been doing? Okay, so I say go back and watch any show that you loved previously, because that's what I'm doing a lot of. For instance, the new season to us of Brooklyn Nine-Nine has come out, so we're on season 6 in the UK, but I just want to go back and watch them all again. Because I love them so much. And I've gone back and watched all The Office US again. And at the moment, because on Netflix, they bought out Hell's Kitchen, but they bought out like halfway through so like season 9 or something, they started it on. But now Prime has got season 1.
Ooh.
And I'm like, ooh, so I've gone back. And now I'm watching all the Hell's Kitchens. I'm like, yay, so many Hell's Kitchen. So yeah, I advise go back and watch any show that you loved previously, because you'll remember why you loved it.
There we go. Very nice.
I'm waiting for Netflix to have Scrubs.
Oh, that'd be good.
Oh,
Scrubs.
I miss Scrubs. I sold all my DVDs. I wish I hadn't. Oh, I love Scrubs. But yeah, we're waiting. They've got it on Prime, but you have to pay for it. So
Yeah,
no. But yeah, Netflix needs to bring out Scrubs. Please. Social media.
Hey, well, mine's coming in on a helicopter today. There we go.
Whoopata whoopata.
There we go. I expect to see a helicopter arriving and displaying on my beautiful social media.
It could be a helicopter, or it could be something that's definitely not a helicopter, like
Something
this.
that goes
Or
whoopata,
like
whoopata,
this.
whoopata, whoopata, whoopata. As long as it's doing the sound effect.
Mine's going to come in like this. A boingy boing.
That could be anything.
That could be
A rather angry bouncy ball. Or anything else you boingy boing on.
anything that boingy boings.
Beautiful.
Oh, I need to go outside.
Yeah, I need a cold drink and open the window.
Yeah. Okay.
On that beautiful note, I'm going to stop recording.
No, you need to say goodbye.
Oh no! I don't know what I'm doing anymore! So, from a weeaboo, it's Johnny.
And from a newbie, it's tatty bye.